There's no doubt that wild dogs, potentially including purebred dingoes, are killing sheep. But on the other hand, there's a legitimate expectation in a lot of parts of the community that they're a native species and they deserve protection.
Landowners are desperate to save their valuable sheep herds. But why would you eat a fast kangaroo when a fat sheep is a slower moving and tastier target for these expert jaws? He packs together with other wild dogs for the thrill of the kill. Wild dogs are known for bringing down an animal so they can go for the body's gourmet parts, the liver, kidneys or heart, leaving the animal to die an agonising death. But both the pure dingo and the wild dog still share an innate killer instinct. Both will chase and bring down any animal smaller than they are, which shows fear by running away. Even a professional like researcher zoologist Lee Allen is astounded by the dingo's innate killer instinct.
One of the great experiences I've had working with dingoes and for some decades was to actually be in the presence of a dingo that had never killed in its life and had never seen anything killed in its life when it first came in contact with goats. And we observed this, and this animal just approached out of curiosity, and then all of a sudden the whole attitude of this dingo changed. His head dropped down. The moment that goat started to run, that just triggered this innate behaviour in this dingo, and he just went straight in and took down this goat within about 10 metres. It was an amazing sight to see.
Tragically, the dog's killer instinct is at work today.
Right across the country, farmers and landowners are increasingly fearful of the growing menace of wild dogs. In the past, farmers had to contend mostly with purebred dingoes. Now they say they're facing a new, much more dangerous threat from interbred domestic dogs. They say the new wild dogs are much bigger, more plentiful and more aggressive than dingoes. One farmer's told PM of shooting an Irish wolfhound cross which weighed 76 kilograms. That farmer and others believe it's only a matter of time before a person is attacked. But in the meantime, they say growing stock losses are having a huge impact. Connor Duffy reports.
Richard Fisher runs beef cattle on his property Glenelg, near the town of Bellbrook in the picturesque high country inland from the New South Wales mid-north coast. Wild dogs are a constant threat, and he says a large pack was sighted just yesterday.
It's a neighbour of mine that lives in a straight line, would be a kilometre between our houses. The Country Energy employee coming in to read his meter came on a pack on his property of 10 of these dogs in one pack that had been disturbing and chasing his cattle.
Wild dog attacks are on the rise throughout southeast Australia, particularly in sheep country. Chris Johnson from the School of Biology at James Cook University says the farmer's traditional enemy, the dingo, is being replaced by a far more dangerous adversary, the feral domestic dog.
There's a lot of anecdotal evidence that there are more wild dogs around, and they may be getting bigger and possibly more aggressive as well. And that's largely due to the replacement of the original dingo populations with feral dog populations.
Richard Fisher has trapped dozens of dogs in the past few years and says he's caught one the size of a small man.
The largest that I've personally destroyed, shot, has been 75 to 76 kilograms, verified by the Port Macquarie National Parks and Wildlife, who they have the dog on show down there. And I have heard of other dogs that have been trapped in various places in New South Wales in excess of 80 kilograms.
And what was the 75-kilo dog like to see? I mean, that must have been an enormous animal.
He was an enormous animal. He was a crossbred between an Irish wolfhound, and in all respects, he was just a massive hunter-killer dog.
It would have been frightening to see that if you didn't have your gun with you, I imagine.
Well, actually, I trapped him first before I shot him, and he carried a trap, the regulation steel-jawed trap, which was attached to half a fence post, which would have weighed in the vicinity of at least 40 kilograms. He towed that, and I tracked him over 5 kilometres.
Chris Johnson says farmers are reporting seeing all sorts of breeds and that they vary in size.
You'll see things that look very much like Alsatians, but with mixtures of lots of different breeds.
And they're running in large packs?
They can do, yeah. They tend to form in sort of pretty large, disorganised packs and move over fairly long distances, which means that they can really surprise sheep farmers, that a pack of dogs can move into an area and cause havoc for a while and then move off somewhere else.
Richard Fisher says coming across a wild dog attack is amongst his most distressing duties as a farmer.
We lost 32 in a matter of 3 weeks, 32. They were yearling cattle that were killed, and it's extremely distressing when you go out to feed your cattle and you've got to take a rifle with you and shoot your cattle that are 2 weeks or two after a dog attack. These domestic feral dogs, they attack just for the sport of it. They're not out just to kill for food.
Mr. Fisher and many others believe it's only a matter of time before the problem gets much worse and a person is attacked.
Definitely so. I've heard reports of some people organising, like walks and jogging and health exercise along some of our country roads, where they have been conscious and seen an appearance of a dog just following them, and then as soon as they turn around to have a look, the dog disappears into the bush. Then they start off jogging again, and the dog appears and sort of follows them along. I do feel that the way the dogs are performing now, that people are becoming more concerned for the livelihood of their children, because a lot of these farm children, they can range from either, from young boys and girls around 5, 6 years old. They're taking big responsibilities and looking after their parents' animals and their own animals on their properties, isolated properties. And I think it's only a matter of time before some of these kids may become victims of these dogs.
Beef producer Richard Fisher ending that report by Connor Duffy.